For the first time I tried to get in shape, I failed because I hated training, but now I've managed to train consistently without skipping even one workout for more than a year. And after hearing my story, you will know how you build consistency and stop hating to train. It was at April 3rd, 2022. That day, after a few weeks of thinking about getting in shape, of watching some streamers who started to get into fitness, I started scrolling on TikTok. And as I was scrolling, that kind of videos started to appear on my feed. The motivational videos of daily grind day 350, take cold showers, train in the gym, and do all of that stuff. When I looked at these videos, the first thing that I said to myself was, oh, they are pretty fucking cringe. But because of all of that momentum that I had gained for the willingness to get in shape, after watching them, I got some motivation to get out of this bed. This is the exact bed I sat on, to go to the bathroom and to take my before photo. When I took this photo, I didn't just take it, bro. I remember just tears going down my face, thinking that this time I will not fail because this was the second time I tried, just saying to myself, I cannot allow myself to fail. I don't want to make it too emotional, but after the day, for the following weeks, I did three major things. The first one was that I started to eat less, the second one was that I went for a daily walk at 5:30 a.m., and the third one was that I started to implement a daily workout into my life. I trained basically every day using the app called Leap Fitness 30 Days Challenge, weight loss challenge, in which I trained for 10 minutes every day. After 17 days, I pretty much stopped with it. I wanted to go all in on weight loss, and I thought that going for more walks, I started to walk more, and eating less and focusing more on the deficit side of things is a smarter idea. So I stopped doing it, and I continued to lose weight. A few weeks from that point, at around the middle of May, I bought a dumbbell, an 8 kilogram dumbbell, and I started to use it to curl it, to do some shoulder presses, and to train this way. And after a few weeks, one of my friends invited me to go and play basketball with him. I agreed and we went and we played. We were like six friends. The day afterwards, we decided to do it once again, and then the day afterwards, once again, and so on. We started to do it consistently together, and at the time, I also started to watch some fitness videos from people like Jesse James West and Will Tennyson, and I got more into fitness. But the thing was that I was not really sticking to training at home anymore. I was a lot less consistent with it. I was mainly losing weight. I lost around 2 pounds per week, and I was proud of myself because of that, but my body was not the one that I wanted. That's the first way to improve consistency. But before I go over it, let's keep going with this story, because there are another two ways that will help you to become way more consistent and enjoy training a lot more. So after signing up to a gym at around August the 1st, I trained consistently 2 times per week, each and every week. This time I was training alone. I know none of my friends signed up to this gym. They signed up to a different gym and they were training together while I was training there alone. But because of the fact that I got more into fitness and watched all of these fitness videos, I was pretty motivated to train, and each time that I went to this workout, I said to myself, I'm getting jacked. And it made me feel pretty good. On top of that, I realized I was pretty strong. My friends shared their lifts on our WhatsApp group, and I was stronger than all of them, and it made me feel pretty fucking good. So I kept training and saw even more progress and more progress. The new beginnings phase hit me hard. I consistently got stronger. After 3 months, I switched gyms because I didn't really like to train there alone. I saw my friends training together and I wanted to train with them too, so I switched to the different gym. And there, after switching there, me and one of my friends started to train together almost every time, and we trained with a few other friends sometimes. And he was basically my gym bro. But during those few months, I was not ready for what was about to come, because after a few months, this friend stopped training in the gym. He quit. Because of that, I started to train alone. A few other friends were training with me sometimes, but this was the guy that I trained with most of the time. Training alone was a lot less fun. Right, you know that feeling after you do something really fun, like this low that you feel after doing that thing, after when doing anything else? That's the kind of thing that I felt for around the 2 months after we stopped training together. Around that time, I got into reading more and I read a book called Atomic Habits. This book taught me about the importance of building habits, of doing things consistently, of not skipping workouts and not making the act of implementing habits hard and making it easy. And when I read it, I realized I have been making a massive mistake for all of the time because I train between 3 to 4 times per week. Now, at first sight, it might seem completely fine, but from what I've realized from that book, repetition is king. Doing a thing more times makes it more habitual and makes the act of doing it easier. And after a few months from that point, I continued to train 3 to 4 times per week using an upper lower split. But one day I decided just pull the trigger and to go on a 5 times per week upper lower push pull leg split. And when I did it at first, the first week I had a pretty hard time implementing it, but at the second week I had a pretty good time doing so. When I was doing the upper lower split, I was constantly delaying my workouts because I was fatigued. And when I was doing that push pull leg upper lower split, I had none of these options because I trained almost every day. I needed to go to my workouts because unless I went to them, I would not get them. So I kept doing it. I kept training. After a month, I decided to go all in on a push pull leg split just because how smoothly it went. And from that point until now, I have been sticking to it consistently. I have not missed even one workout during the time. I delayed 3 workouts by one day, but nothing more. And here is the thing. So there were basically 3 main things I implemented in my own journey that made being consistent much easier and made me more consistent. I will go over each one of them right now. I want your full attention and I want you to listen carefully because implementing these tips might be the make or break when it comes to your consistency in your fitness journey. The first thing that I did was to train with friends. At the first 2 months of my fitness journey, I had a hard time with consistency. I had a hard time training. I had a hard time with discipline too, because everything that I was doing, I did it alone. I was training alone. I was going for walks at 5:30 a.m. alone. I was eating on a deficit alone. I didn't train with friends. And though at first sight it might seem like just train it alone, bro, do it alone. Discipline is important and you should develop it. And I absolutely agree with it. But, so there is a thing called baseline of behavior. We as humans, we don't rise up to goals, especially when our baseline of behavior doesn't match them. Your baseline of behavior is basically you fulfilling all of your needs. I will not go into it in details, but human nature is pretty lazy. It tries to fulfill all of its needs, all of its goals, basically, desires, to a good extent, to just a good extent, not to a great extent, not to a massively great extent, but to a decent extent. If you want to get in shape, your baseline of behavior, if you don't have friends who train in the gym, if you're not really into training, if you don't get a lot of your sense of progression from it, will be training 2 times per week. But if you have friends who train, if you get a massive sense of progression from training, this baseline of behavior will go up. It will be 3 times or 4 times. Not exactly because each person is different, but generally. And that's the first thing that I was doing. I started to play basketball with my friends, and it was a massive thing that had helped me with weight loss, with burning calories, and with doing cardio because I didn't really like it. The second thing was training more frequently. So as I told you, I went from the upper lower split to a push pull leg split, and I haven't skipped a workout in the last 1 year, even once. The book Atomic Habits talks about the importance of habit building, and I will be the kind of guy who will sit here and tell you I absolutely agree with it. Habits are important to implement. It is so crucial that you habitualize training, that you make it part of your baseline of behavior, because unless you do it, you will have a very hard time sticking to it, and by extension, you might even fail. Doing a thing more frequently makes it a habit to a greater extent. Think about going to school. At the first few weeks that you went to school when you were a child, they were probably the hardest part of school, of going to it, of sticking to it, of sticking to this habit of going to school. You didn't really want to do it, you were not motivated to do it, it was pretty hard to get used to it, but once you did, you just went to it. It was automatic. And then when they were those breaks, the winter break and all of these breaks, going back to school after them was probably hard too, because you have dehabitualized going to school, making training consistently pretty habitual and pretty easy by extension. Works on the same token. Doing it more consistently and not taking dumb breaks in between makes the act of implementing it easier. That's the second thing, is training more frequently and not allowing myself to skip my workouts just as a byproduct of training 6 times per week instead of 3. The third thing I did was this. I got more into fitness. I started to value it more. How did I do it? I consumed more content that influenced me to value it more. Here is the thing, we are the average of the 5 things that influence us the most. When I started to play basketball with my friends, I also started to get more into fitness. I watched all of these fitness videos from Will Tennyson, Jesse James West, and other influencers, and they influenced me to care more about fitness, to think about the gym more, and to think about training more. By doing so, I started to value it more by making it a part of these 5 things that influenced me the most. I got more motivated and inspired to train. The fifth thing is about doing it yourself, is about watching more videos and consuming more content and having more friends that influence you to be in a better shape, to stick to it more, to care about it more, to value it more. And that's basically it. If you enjoyed this video, you can like and subscribe. Literally tell me, Ori, I enjoyed it, like and subscribe. And if you want to get a free training plan, you can check out the link in the description. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.